Hey guys, welcome once again to the Technicalities Africa podcast. My name is Emmanuel.
I'm Oluwanifemi.
I'm Chimbosru.
And I'm Bolu.
Yeah, so it's been a very, very eventful week, and we had like really tough discussions on Monday, on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm losing track of.
Is it because of the rain?
Yes, the rain. Like the days have been looking the same.
Or because of the break?
Break? No, I didn't even notice there was a break. But the days that I think you jinxed the whole thing. You said when you were small, you used to have 7 days rain.
It eventually happened.
Yeah, so I don't even know how that happened. But thankfully the rain has stopped.
Yeah, thankfully. And even if it's falling now, I mean you can't hear it. We've changed.
They're back in our studio.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. What should you be worrying about, however, is Bolu, you have some stories from India and social experiment. Yes. So why I am saying you should be worried about that
the
because
fact that it's a social experiment and somebody taught it within themselves to emulate them.
Yes.
When Twitter was banned in Nigeria. I didn't even know until now it was a social experiment. When they were going to defend, was it Crow or Crowy?
Crow.
What is Crow? Crowe?
They had to they had to make an example of Ku.
Yeah.
Please continue. It's annoying.
Yeah. So Ku is another social media bird that the Nigerian government tried to
emulate.
Try to force on us, but
is it the Nigerian government or a certain overhyped activist of the Nigerian government?
Okay, no, the overhyped activist actually created his own.
He's not an activist. Sorry for the use of that word.
Okay,
but let's just say
the government leech.
Okay,
but lately he has.
This is not your Twitter account.
He's changing stance. Yes, he's changing his stance.
The way is not.
Yes, he rendered his apology. Actually,
I don't want to hear. So
okay,
okay, wait. What's happening to Crow? Let's know the future of Crow. Sorry, of Crow.
Does he have a future? No, it was dead on arrival.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think so. Before the whole issue with the Twitter ban in Nigeria. India also had their own run-ins with Twitter in India.
But they show Twitter Pepe.
Yes.
So
out of they were looking for vengeance. They created Ku, another bird app, and then Nigeria too was like, yes.
Let's create a counter Ku.
Nice one.
Tweet that.
Nice Emmanuel is on fire today.
Nice one.
So. In the same vein, the Nigerian government too wanted to bring Ku to Nigeria after they banned Twitter, and
so but it feels like the very, very first Ku in Nigeria.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So they wanted a new social media platform after that whole wala with Twitter, and as it's looking now, even the Nigerian government is not using the Ku again.
The Nigerian government or the Indian government?
The Nigerian government.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I remember they tweeted on Ku to tell us that they've...
No, they could on Twitter. No,
they could on Ku.
They quoted on...
To tell us about Crow.
Okay.
Yes, because by that time they had banned Twitter. So they went to Ku.
Okay. Then
to tweet about Crow.
Okay.
Interesting. They could.
Okay. So, in case you're wondering why we are talking like this, today is just the day for dragging. I mean, there are very, very, very special episodes today. I mean, there's Elon Musk and Donald Trump going at it on Twitter. And I don't know what I don't understand those two people, first of all. But one is saying, "Oh, I voted for Trump." One is saying, "I didn't vote for Trump." I don't know what.
And then Elon Musk has to come and reply that's not true. That guy is all over the place.
Like, jilted lovers, like.
Yes, but I could care less about Trump and Elon. What I'm caring about right now is a company that promised so much. The word on the street is the bank of the free is no longer free.
Yes,
it's not the bank of the fee. But
they have opened dungeon gates.
This is not as bad as it sounds, actually. In my own opinion.
Okay.
So it's not. it's a stamp duty that they're now charging on all deposits. So it
Which
starts
has been going on with every
other
other bank.
banks. But here's the thing: they told us bank of the free transfers, free everything. But we did not know that the CBN and FIRS had different plans for them. So from July 15th, they will be charging 15 naira for every deposit. So just to be clear, it's not when you're sending money
over
out.
10,000 naira.
Yeah, every deposit of over 10,000. So if you have a Kuda account, you might just tell people to send you 95 or 9,700 naira or 98 or 99.
Batches.
Yes, in batches, and you won't have to part with 50 naira or even 9,950 naira. It's not.
Come on, this guy, you just want to find a way to circumvent.
Okay, let's just try to make things clear. I started with back of the free. Now, if you are listening and you're not sure, you're not really familiar with their slogan, Kuda is about to start charging for transfers.
Yes.
If you're not familiar with this slogan, I don't know where you are.
Don't assume that everybody knows.
No, it's not. This
so
is
if
not
you're
only
outside
on Lagos
Lagos,
streets.
Uh,
I am telling you.
There are billboards everywhere.
It's not just on Lagos. You know that in the middle of the road.
Yes.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
Yes.
Oh.
I saw it in Akure, in the middle of
I
the
never
road.
saw it in Ife.
Yeah, what are you coming to do in Ife?
No, now students are there.
Those are their targets.
Students. Do they need billboards to convince students?
No, I'm just saying that Bank of the Free was in our faces. It was on Big Brother Nigeria, which was like
Even the users
like
of
the
the banks
most
will not
watched,
stop.
what's it called? Is it reality show?
Yeah.
Yes. So Bank of the Free, but let's just remind you, Bank of the Free is Kuda. Kuda
Yes.
Bank.
Okay, so my issue with Kuda has always been I like their proposition, right? Free transfers, right? They're coming to
25 free transfers in a month.
what kind of transfers?
Some
are you
people
doing?
exhaust it.
Okay, so
Well, are you running a POS business?
Some people exhaust it. I'm serious.
what are you transferring?
Like, I don't get.
Yeah, you might have businesses
so
that
someone
require
like
you
Bolu
to
can
do.
that. So Bolu basically transfers. He looks like a money launderer. He moves money from one account to the other
This is
to another account. Like, he just keeps on moving his money from one account to. I don't get this, young man. So you can exhaust 25 transfers in a month. So
I think the
thank God
I
you
have
don't have
done.
proof.
Yes, I used Kuda Bank actually, and that proposition was what bought me. I actually convinced other people to use it, and now
so
I
here's
don't know.
here's
I
my
don't know
problem
what
with that
to say to them.
proposition. I still don't use Bank of the Free. They never use them, but
How's the beef?
I never ever. No, I don't have beef with them. I just don't like when someone is giving me so I didn't have an issue with my previous banks charging me for my transfers. I still don't have an issue. They charge me for SMS that they sent 2 days late. Charge me for even email, which is supposedly free. At least according to the form they gave me, it's free, but they charge me for it. They charge me for literally everything, except this stamp duty, which is also curious. So I won't be telling people my bank, so that people don't talk to them and then ask them to start. But they don't charge me this stamp duty, which is weird. Although Onifemi pointed out earlier that could be because nobody's sending me money. So if you're out there and
Yes, nice when you receive money of above 10,000 naira. When was the last time somebody charged you money?
Well, so this is an open challenge to anyone who remotely cares
Seriously
about
now?
me.
I'm covering my
please, let's do it.
Just send me
a quick
10k.
census now.
Send
When
me
was the last
10k
time
to
somebody sent you money?
send me 10k to shame Nifemi. Please do this for me.
It's
Is
true.
it that bad?
I may send
I
it
can't
back
remember
to
the
you.
last time somebody sent me money.
okay.
Oh,
No,
nice.
no. So it
I don't
doesn't.
think
It doesn't have to be
scam, true.
someone sending you money. You could have borrowed somebody money
And
on
they
that
are
amount,
returning
and they're
it.
returning it to you.
I don't even do loans again. Make person know they tell me story.
Okay, now beyond all the fun we are having with this story, I mean, there are 2 things that are sticking out for me with Kuda. Every time I think about them, from the onset, I've always questioned the sustainability of the business offering
Model.
free transfers, right? And when they raised their Series B a few months ago, and they talked about doing overdraft, right? Giving out loans to people. So that's like one of the core aspects of a bank's business. Now, there's also their customer service. You're a digital bank. You don't have a physical office where people can come and shout on your head.
Until they add one. in Yaba.
They had one in Yaba, and
They
it
have
was
one in Yaba. They didn't have until they had that, but still, people are still going there to not getting their issues sorted.
Mhm.
I remember a time when Onome had to go to their customer service office in
To fight.
Yaba to go and fight
Yes.
after complaints, after sending
Share
emails.
shirts.
You get, and the issue was resolved there and then.
Now, if I listen to this, it's almost getting to a year since I sent a mail to Kuda to resolve a money they debited from my account that they didn't fund. And that money they're still owing me till now.
It's little, but it's
Me, I still have money
What has ever
tied
happened
up.
there?
in
Even
Airtel.
after everything, I still don't have beef with them. Don't all these things I'm saying. I'm just doing my job as a journalist. Okay.
I can imagine. How are we supposed to believe that?
Yeah, but yeah. On a serious note, the sustainability of the business is is being called into question. I mean, we've seen other banks like Carbon, Fair Money. They are operating a different model called the credit-led neobank model, and from the onset, they're already giving out loans. They're already making a lot of money. These companies have relatively higher interest rates for their loans compared to, say, banks and all of that. So Kuda's case is actually quite compelling. I'm actually trying to see how monetization will flow. I mean, if Kuda was the Kuda of a few years ago, where they could raise funds with so much ease, I don't think they would have bothered customers with this 15 naira stamp duty charges.
The market is
So-
bloody as it were.
Yes. So I'm okay.
So basically, have they been paying that stamp duty for their customers?
It's quite possible because
So that's
According to
incurring
CBN.
a lot of debts.
yeah, according
Yes,
to
when
CBN,
you want to acquire customers, you do stuff
So,
like that.
you know they have
take a cue from OP.
They say they have like 2 million customers.
Well, I am
And
a
let's
customer.
say about a million. Let me do the
Are
math.
active.
A million are okay. A million might be a stretch, but let's do 500k.
of
And
those 2 million.
500k receive deposits of 10k and above every month. That's sorry, I didn't exactly pay attention in maths class, so don't try to.
You
drag me.
wasted school fees, right?
25 million naira that you're incurring every month.
25
money
million. naira.
compared
Yes,
to
they've been
how much
raising money.
they raised.
They've been raising
Yeah,
money.
they've been
Yeah,
raising
they've been
money,
raising,
but you
but
do that for
this
a
20
year.
Come on.
You're talking about
have
how
salaries
much
to
now?
pay,
You have
you
salaries
have
to pay. You have a
Marketing to
market.
do.
Someone was, I think there was who that was asking what their marketing budget is, and word on the street is that the marketing budget is insane. Can't remember exactly. I think, if I'm not mistaken, around $2 million or so.
So a hefty marketing budget, 300 and possibly 350 million naira spent incurred on just covering transfer debts for people. I mean, yeah, Kuda is on a roll, and I'm having an uneasy feeling about this, and I'm looking at this space very, very closely to see what they're going to be up to. But another space I'm looking at closely is the Nigerian government, or not just the Nigerian government, African governments in general. Traveling between these countries is always very, very difficult. And Togo is up to something that's seemingly quite interesting and progressive, but I'm taking it with a pinch of salt because
As
the
usual.
last time a government, looking at you, Nigeria, told me that everything can be digital, I still have to go to the office to queue. So, yes, what's Togo up to with the
Okay.
e-visa?
Yeah, so Togo has launched something. They actually launched it last year. It's called Togo Voyage. Let me use French. So
Don't,
that's
don't stress yourself. Just
yeah. So it's a platform where they claim, or I don't know if I should use that word, to have digitized the entire process when it comes to getting your visa. So I don't know, when I checked, what the process is like for getting a visa in Nigeria, it's kind of similar. So there's also the digital version where you can pay online, start filling the forms online, but there's still a part of the process that still requires you to be at the embassy. So, but what Togo is telling us now is that the entire process from start to finish will be digital, which until I see or probably talk to someone that has done it. I might not.
Do you need to see or talk to someone before you start trying to weigh the merits of any proposition? I mean,
So e-visa has their benefit. E-visas, they have their own benefit, and the major one is that you're supposedly supposed to do everything virtually. You're not supposed to go anywhere. You're supposed to do it virtually.
okay.
Right? But
You know, as it be.
you see, there are a lot of infrastructure around it, right? You have to, when a country to start with, I'm not saying Togo, when a country to start with doesn't have like a standard database.
Use your at button.
No, I'm not. I don't want to say what I don't know.
Okay.
Right? But when a country to start with doesn't have a database that is standard, right, for its citizens, right, that is secure too from hackers, and you want to do something virtually, which means you are putting people's identity online. They are doing it online. It's in the cloud.
Yeah.
Is it safe there? Is it safe from identity theft? Is it safe from forgery? Right? Do you have the infrastructure to tell them to do their biometrics online? Right? So there are a lot of infrastructure around it, and if that's not sorted, you can just put a tag on it, e-visa. Right?
Exactly.
It reminds me of the current PVC, permanent voters card registration, that is going on in Nigeria, and you are told that you can do it online. But after you register online, you have to go and present yourself in an office to do your biometrics. You get, and they are not even telling you are not even sure if your details are secured. So if visa on its own is nice, right? Where they get it right, as it were, I think it's over 61 countries in the world that offer e-visas, right? And Asia like occupy a number of them. Let's say in Africa we have like 10. If Togo goes through with theirs, right, we have like 10 in Africa that offer e-visas. So, but the concerns are still there. The benefits are high, but do we have the infrastructure to maintain them? Right? Can you tell me that my details that you are putting in the cloud, that nobody can steal it and go and use my passport somewhere else?
Are you a startup and you're wondering how to tell people like Nifemi how you're handling their data? Maybe you should come to Tema Elevate July 23rd, 2022. Yeah, don't miss it, honestly, because you need to, at this point, you need to be very, very conscious on how you relate information
and
to your customers. So if I hear that my details are being peddled in a hacker WhatsApp group and they got it from a startup I registered with, it will not be funny. It's not these ones I'm laughing with Kuda.
Yes, because it's actually a lot of data that, let's even assume that they're able to get the infrastructure for you to do your biometrics, and your pictures and things like that. Having those kind of information in the hands of the wrong people can end really badly for anybody. So
so we are wishing to go the best.
Yeah, it's a whole lot, and of course so many things happening in Francophone Africa, and we'll be back with more to talk about. But before then, let's go and give the people who are paying our house rent some credit.
Hi, I'm Abisola Adenoga, the head of business at TechPoint Africa, and I'm here with good news. Did you know you could present yourself as a reputable brand leader? Did you know that your business could get the limelight it deserves? Now you do. Using TechPoint marketing tools, we can put you in the faces of a large audience for brand awareness and thought leadership. Begin your journey to generating leads for your business and getting instant feedback on your products and services. To know more, reach out by sending an email to business@techpoint.africa or click on the link in the description. Together, we can take your business to the next level.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed Abisola's voice. Yeah, so it's like I said, there are lots of things happening in Francophone Africa, and Nifemi even featured an expert in our series from Francophone Africa. And this is an opportunity for you to even give your shameless plug.
Yes, my shameless plug. In my last episode of Expert on Africa, I interviewed or wrote the story of an African tech leader who has been making grants in Francophone Africa. She's a Cameroonian. Her name is Patricia Pedom. No. It was interesting. It was an interesting conversation with her. And I tried to reflect all it is about the conversation in that article. We'll put the link in the description. You should also listen to the podcast, the accompanying podcast. I think her voice is soothing, so you might want to listen to her. My voice too, you can manage that, but listen to it. Or you can search for Expert and African on any of the platforms you listen to your podcast. And subscribe too, please. Thank you.
Nice one. So, yes, on the news in Francophone Africa, Wave. So when I saw this news, right, I actually started doubting if it's the same Wave I saw last week.
Our proud unicorn, not new. Our proud African or not African unicorn.
Supposedly Francophone Africa's first unicorn, Wave,
Right.
formerly Sendwave in Senegal, laid off 15% of its staff in June 2022. So last month we talked about the wave of hirings, the economic meltdowns around the globe, VC slowdown, and how we're not hearing much happening in Africa. What is going on? And when we're talking about layoffs and cut downs, I was expecting it to be happening to more smaller startups, right? Startups still struggling to survive, but this is a unicorn valued at $1.7 billion, and they've laid off 15% of their staff.
That's crazy.
About 300.
About 300 staff. Chinuzem, do you have some details? More
There
details?
really isn't much detail, but it's not surprising that the big guys are they are laying off staff. So even in Europe, UK, I say Europe or UK, Europe and America, we are not seeing so many small startups laying off. It's always the big guys. So Microsoft is like they've paused hiring. I think they are also going through the same problems. Same with Twitter. Who else? Google has
slowing down
They
hiring.
are slowing down hiring, or not even hiring, or firing staff at all. So for some reason, it's the big guys. So probably the pressure to deliver on your promise to either stakeholders or investors makes them hire people they don't exactly need.
But
And
then, to be fair to them, they said it's in the new market. So if they had known that the
well, is it
situation
really fair to
would
them?
be like this, they wouldn't have expanded.
So you,
No.
In this market, right? You mentioned investor pressure. I understand investor pressure for fast-growing companies like Wave, right? But for behemoths like Google, Microsoft has been existing since I knew what computers are.
it doesn't mean the hand do not meet them. Like everybody shall collect once it's an economic crunch. It doesn't really care about you. For smaller companies, maybe if you have a staff of like 30, 40 people, it might be easier for you to say, fine, I don't want to fire people, but maybe we can just cut salaries. I think I was reading about either a startup or a VC in Europe. I think they reduced the salaries of the C-level execs in order for them to like accommodate the guys that they have. So that could be a route. But even if you reduce Google's CEO salary, how many people can that cover? How many staff?
It can cover a lot.
Yeah, but
have you seen Google? Have you seen Sundar Pichai's conversation?
Yeah, I've seen it, but like, okay, let's look at a company like Amazon. Amazon has about 1 million employees, over 1 million actually.
Okay.
So if they were to start firing people and they decide to go that route of slashing executive salaries, how many salaries can you possibly slash? So I think it makes sense that it's the big guys that are suffering, even though ideally you expect it's the small guys that are suffering. But big man, big trouble, I guess. But for Wave, what's curious for me is the people you're posting is in like new markets. So you entered these markets because you thought there was something there. So does it also mean you're scaling back operations in these areas?
No. When you, in my own opinion, when you enter a new market, right, for the first period, like for the first season, you're still trying to, you're probably not making any money there yet, right? You're still trying to get a footing in those places, which means they are spending more. So when they are saying now, we don't have the capability to expend more in this place to gain grounds, right? Why don't we just withdraw until when we have the capacity to pump in the right money and gain enough ground? So I'm not saying it's fair, you get, but when it comes to new markets, they're not making any money there. Yes, they feel those people need their services.
They're not making any money, but you're essentially reducing the workforce in a territory you are not familiar with. So this is like where you need to figure things out in this new territory compared to old territories where you are familiar with, you know how everything works. So why are you firing people in these new markets?
So are you saying they should fire people in the terrains they are familiar with?
Ideally you won't fire anyone, but is it not better that you have more people on ground to help you figure out a new terrain?
They can always do it virtually.
If they could do it virtually, why did they hire in the first place?
No, it's a mobile money business, so it kind of has to be hands-on a little bit.
True,
so,
though. But I just feel like
new
markets
it
are
makes
not
sense.
really
Those are like probably
their concerns.
Yeah, it won't be their concern, right? And that's probably where the least investments are going to. So it's like easy for you to start with low-hanging fruits, but I don't know. It's still sad. It's getting closer. On a related
note, actually, I hear that downturns like this, period like this, are the best time for some companies because now you will have access to cheaper workforce because they just lost their job.
Wow, that's a low blow.
It is.
But
I'm just saying, it's the reality.
It gives us hope. Yes, it gives them hope.
People will be selling off their assets at lower prices, so you can have access to
I
that.
wish this was affecting crypto traders. I'd have bought their holdings.
They will just
telling you, like
crypto traders will just be on their own. Bullets will come out.
I don't understand symbolism. Yes, but I noticed, I might be wrong, but I noticed that we all know that there's an economic crunch, fine, but why has a lot of tech companies globally been on the receiving end of that crunch
compared
to more
because
traditional companies?
They compensate a lot. They pay a lot.
Because
in my own view, like tech companies, they pay way more than traditional companies when it comes to compared to their level, to the level of the people they are paying to, of their employees.
15,900 tech workers from startups have been laid off this year alone. Yeah. So.
Or in June.
Sorry, in June. In June, and that's even worse.
It's worse. It's worse. A lot is happening
in June,
and maybe because it's just taking a toll. The recession is just taking a toll in the past 2 months.
I mean, when you are basically running on vibes to a large extent, it's bound to happen. See a startup like Klarna that went from a 45 billion, like that. Some people didn't believe it until it was announced.
There was another story, another startup story I saw. Is it European startup? That startup has been running, is an HR software startup. Okay. Has been running since 2015. I can't remember the figures it has raised. I can quickly look for it, and it is not yet profitable.
Okay.
In 2021, it was not yet profitable. I was wondering, like, you're virtually living from paycheck to paycheck.
That's a startup story for a lot of people.
For how many years? 7 years. Come on. So now, those kind of startups, you can bet that during this recession, they are in trouble.
You'll be surprised that they will survive.
You've not been profitable for how many years? You've been raising. Series E? I didn't mention that part. It has been Series E.
Is it due?
I have to remember the status.
So you also have to check how much revenue they are generating. So if they are generating revenues that can cover some part of their costs, then they could use investors' money to just fall back on until things return to normal. But if they are not making significant or sufficient revenues to cover part of their costs, then they will probably die at some point.
Okay, so why people are dying? I'm expecting some seeds. Why startups are dying? Sorry. Why startups are dying? I'm expecting some seeds to germinate, right? I mean, during the last global economic meltdown, that was when we saw the likes of Uber and WhatsApp and Airbnb spring into the scene, right? So I'm actually looking out for those companies that are going to spring from this recession, from this meltdown, and maybe cool it off with the tech side of things and solve real problems. But yes, I'm actually looking forward to the companies that are going to do this. And if you're part of the people who were laid off in Wave, Senegal, Burkina Faso, and Mali, and some other countries, I think Uganda too.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people, we're going to be linking to the tweet by Peter Refo, who is a partner at We Capital. You can fill that form and get an opportunity for a placement or a new job at the startup. And
yes.
don't follow Nifemi's this thing. Don't let them underprice you. Know your worth.
I'm just saying the situation of this is the
No, but
reality.
It's really crazy. We've seen
It is.
companies lose. Some companies lose like 50% of their valuations when things were rosy. So, and it's
Okay, that's okay. Let's just leave this here. Like I said, you of course it's not just Wave. I mean, if you're losing your job, there are many communities you could reach out to. There are platforms you could follow, and and you're a startup founder. Please just stay strong, and
Our thoughts are with you. And employees, sit up, because your boss, according
Can be
to
tweeting that
a certain CEO,
I went to tweet.
and they fire you to sack. Waiting for you to fuck up.
so sit up this period. It's a very, very trying period. And if you're listening to this episode, I'd like to hear what you think about the stories we discussed, the Kuda, the charges. Do you think it was inevitable? How soon do you think Kuda will be profitable? Because I hardly doubt that they are. And Togo, their e-visa, Francophone waves layoffs. That's a very, very chilling and sad story, but not chilling, but really sad. And yeah, just let us know what you think. You can tweet at us with the hashtag TechPointAfrica podcast, or you send us an email with the email address podcast@techpoint.africa. And if you're listening to us for the first time and you've not been sharing, like I said, it's still a bad habit, and
You can do better.
you can do better. So yeah, where can you find us, Bolu?
yes, you can find us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Hyatt Radio, and anywhere else you get your podcast.
Are you feeling cold?
I'm actually feeling good.
This episode is proudly sponsored by the TechPoint African business team.
Yeah, that you won't pay our house rent.
Yes.